Today we're going to cover 9.PCH.1.3 content. This content is about preventing disease, making decisions, and trying to help slow the process of maybe getting a disease. And it's going to be talking about the prevention, recognition of symptoms. Of course, we're going to go over this PowerPoint right here. And then there are 3 websites that you can view anytime at your on your own time. And it's a cancer research, a breast cancer early detection website, and then testicular cancer early detection in males. And of course, the breast cancer is focused towards the females. And of course, this is just a general cancer website, but you may click on these 3 web pages at any time to review them. But getting into the PowerPoint now, like I said, this is disease prevention and recognition of symptoms. And our vocabulary today is just primary prevention, secondary control of disease, and tertiary control of disease. So first and foremost, the primary prevention of a disease is to prevent the disease or injury before it occurs. So this is done by preventing exposures to like a hazard that can cause an injury, alter your unhealthy or unsafe behavior, and lead to disease and injury, and increasing resistance to disease and injury if it should occur. So primary examples are getting your exercise regularly, eating a low-fat diet, washing your hands, wearing a seatbelt, wearing a helmet, avoiding tobacco, getting the proper amounts of sleep, 7 to 8 hours, maintaining your desired weight, and using sunscreen. Like right now, washing our hands, using hand sanitizer, wearing our mask would be a primary prevention of the coronavirus. Eating a low-fat diet, exercising regularly, getting proper amounts of sleep would help us not develop cardiovascular disease one day. Using sunscreen would prevent skin cancer. So that is the purpose of primary prevention of a disease, because you've got to do the things in your everyday life to help hopefully not have these things happen to you one day. Next, we have secondary control of disease, and that is when secondary prevention is when it aims to reduce the impact of the disease or injury that has already occurred. So the difference in primary and secondary is primary, the incident, the impact, the injury hasn't happened. Secondary, it has happened. This is what to do once an injury or disease is detected. So this is done by detecting and treating disease as soon as possible to halt or slow its progress, and encourage personal strategies to prevent re-injury, reoccurrence, and implementing programs to return people to their original health and function to prevent long-term problems. So secondary control example would be like noticing the 7 warning signs of cancer, giving yourself a self-examination, getting your physical each year. Those of you that are playing sports, you have to get a physical each year. I know this year's kind of crazy, so you may not have had one, but in a normal situation, you're going to have one every single year before you can play sports. Having your blood level cholesterol checked, and of course having a chest x-ray. You're doing these things to try, in the event, to try to slow the process and slow the progression of a disease or injury. And then next we have tertiary control, and of course tertiary control aims to soften the impact of an ongoing illness or injury that has lasting effects. So this is done by helping people manage long-term and often complex health problems and injuries like chronic diseases, permanent impairments, in order to improve as much ability to function and their quality of life and even their life expectancy. So tertiary control would be like having bypass surgery because you have blocked arteries, chemotherapy because you have cancer, CPR because somebody is not breathing, abdominal thrust because somebody's choking, taking antibiotics because you have strep throat, applying a cast to a broken bone, having a tumor removed because it's detrimental to your health, and of course taking an antidepressant because someone is suffering from depression. And then the last thing, on the last slide are the 7 warning signs of cancer, and these are just cancer in general, and this is just basically, excuse me, to talk about to help prevent disease, of course, in the secondary format. So if you see these things changing, it's going to end up becoming tertiary control. But the 7 warning signs now, of course, would be change in bowel or bladder habits. The second thing, having a sore that doesn't heal, unusual bleeding or discharge, thickening or lump in breast or anywhere else, indigestion or difficulty swallowing, obvious change in a wart or mole, and of course a nagging cough or hoarseness that doesn't ever go away. So that covers the content for the PowerPoint. Like I said, you can view these websites here at your own time. I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but I'll just hit on some of the basic points. Of course, this is just the cancer, like American Cancer Society webpage that you can find any information about cancer in general, all different types of cancer, and where to get help from. And of course, like I said, this one is for females for the breast cancer detection, and then this is testicular for males to tell you what it is and how to, or like, not necessarily how to, but what the warning signs are and anything else that you can review at your own time. And that covers the content for today.